Sounds like
Hot to have it tomorrow night, so we'll see. We'll see if she makes it or not. Somebody else is coming. So what we're gonna do is switch it again. Yes. Yes, we're gonna pass out the passwords here today and then get them to the front desk when you go.
just moved here 4 weeks. I would have had better on the other. Everybody, I didn't meet. All on the other side. Well, you'll meet your neighbors. Your neighbors are all. I just took my daughter before she got here.
I'm going to call this meeting to order. And then I'll turn it over to Clara. She's going to be on Zoom, so she's going to be running it from there. Go ahead, Clara.
Okay, great. Welcome back, everyone. I can't see you, but could I have a show of hands of anybody who's a new member this year? All right, well, welcome. And for all of you returning, I think I appreciate that you've continued with the Tech Club. And as always, if there are any suggestions or problems or concerns, be sure to let us know. So what I'd like to do is start with the introductions. I'm Kata Mapes, current president of the Tech Club. And you saw Larry Schreier there. He is not only our vice president, he is also in charge of the Tech Club and our go-to person for all of our technology needs. And he's an incredible asset to our club, and we really appreciate him. And then Lorene Rodriguez, raise your hand there. She's our wonderful secretary. And Martin, her husband, is one of our directors. We do have an open spot for a director if anyone is interested. That's basically just someone who helps us promote the club. And then Liz Perry is our treasurer. She's still out of town, but you probably met her before. And then are there any members of the tech team present there, Larry, that we could introduce?
Harry's here. And so Harry is on the tech team. And that's the only one I see other than Tim. Tim's standing over by the door hiding, so.
Oh, he's ready to run out, huh? Well, the technology club is not just the board, but it's also the people behind the scenes on the tech team. Harry takes care of the lab of making sure everything's provided. Tim is, besides being our illustrious previous president of the Tech Club, he has just stayed involved, and his involvement is so important. So I am very thankful to have such a great board. And then we also have the Sunday help session volunteers, which are pretty much the tech team and the tech board, and some students that come in from Marana High School. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. Now for our business, excuse me, I'm sorry. For our business meeting, because it is the first meeting of the fiscal year, which is from October 1 of one year till September 30th of the next year, we have a little bit of business to take care of, and that is the revised bylaws. We went through them earlier in the year, the board did, and we sent out copies to everyone. And they're available also on the website. Basically, there were some changes and different things about having different committees and so forth. We also changed the election procedure because we're now running on the fiscal year. We are changing the elections for the board's positions to May, and people can apply in April. Next April, the positions that we'll be voting on will be the vice president. I worked in a school, okay. And the vice president and the treasurer, which currently are Larry and Liz. So later on in the year, we'll alert you if you're interested in being on the board. And then in 2024, president and secretarial positions will be open for election. So along with that, if you have any questions, we can talk to you later. You can always send a message. So at this point, I would like to vote on our revised bylaws. So I move that we accept our revised bylaws. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Lorraine, did you get that person's name? All right, and then, so at this point, I would like to vote on accepting the revised bylaws. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no, nay. Okay, by virtue of this election, on October 12th, we accept the revised bylaws for the Tech Club. So thank you for that. I'd also like to thank Steve Morris. He was with us as a director on the board for a little while, but he will stay on the tech team. So he may not be there, but he has also been very involved in helping along with the tech team. Now I'm going to ask Larry to give us an update on the tech team and lab, anything else having to do with the tech lab. Take it away, Larry.
Okay, we don't have a whole lot going on. What we did do was we replaced all the UPSs in the lab. What was happening was the UPSs were a little bit small and we were getting alarms weekly on the UPSs in there. So we went to a little bit larger UPSs. And since we installed those about a month ago, we haven't had any alarms or anything on them. So that's resolved that issue.
Larry,
So
could you please explain what a UPS is for someone who might not
they're
know?
on power supplies, and what they do is the computers and monitors are plugged into those. If we have bumps in power, if we have a short power outage, the UPSs will keep the computers from seeing that and getting damaged. So that's kind of the reason for a UPS is you don't want your computer to get damaged by power bumps. So anyway, we went to those because the ones previous worked, except that they just weren't quite big enough to handle the power draw from the computers and monitors that were plugged in. So every once in a while we get an alarm from them. So anyway, we upsized those. And that's really about all we've done in the lab since we did the update last year. Went down from 7 computers to 5 PCs. We have a Mac in there now. A full-size Mac is in there now. So we've done all of that. So that's pretty much what we've done with the tech team and the lab.
And just to add to that, especially for the new members, I got a password, and for everybody, the passwords will be updated. Actually, you're going to receive them today, but they will not be effective until November 1st. And anyone who joins after that will get the new ones. But for anybody who is not present in the room today to receive your password, you can get them at the front desk. We also talked at the board meeting today about updating some of the computers, especially System 5. So Larry's always on the ball, and he's going to get a new system for that. Each of these computers is called a system. That includes the computer, the monitor, the keyboard, and the mouse. And he said today that all new computers will have Windows 11 on it. So we will be slowly moving from Windows 10 to Windows 11. For some of us, that may be a learning curve, but once that new system is installed, you might want to just try using System 5 and see what you can learn from about Windows 11. System 5 is also where we have the faxing, outbound faxing capability. That's also where the flatbed scanner is connected. So that will be coming, and we'll keep you updated with the in the newsletters. Anything else you want to add, Larry?
That's all I've got.
Okay. Now, this year, the Sunday help sessions are on the 2nd and 4th Sundays. And we just had the session last Sunday. And in 2 weeks from that Sunday, we'll have the next one. We are really fortunate that we have students from the Honor Society at Marana High School who come and assist anyone who needs help. This last Sunday, apparently there was just one person. So make sure you can bring a phone, a tablet, or a laptop, anything portable to the help sessions. And, if you just want to know how to do some little thing, usually there'll be someone there who can help you or perhaps give you some indication of where to go from there. So this concludes the member business meeting. And now we're on to the Tech Talk. We are fortunate to have a new speaker for the Tech Talk today. And I'll introduce him in just a moment, but I do want to just add that anyone that we invite for a Tech Talk, that's not necessarily an endorsement of them or any products or services they might have, but rather just that we really appreciate to have the opportunity to learn something new from that speaker. So Tony Berja from Watermark at Continental Ranch is our speaker today. He's going to be talking about how we can protect ourselves from hackers. So in the explanation that you receive, it says, with all our connected technologies, scams are getting more and more prevalent every day. There's virtually no service you can use anymore without creating an account and giving your email or phone number. This has made hackers and scammers around the world more and more creative. He's going to show us about the latest methods they come up with to get into our accounts and try to get our money. And he will have information about how to protect ourselves. So Tony, we thank you for your talk today and welcome to Sunflower.
Thank you. All right. Thank you guys so much for having me. I heard your president had an issue with her toe, so they sent me in. I'm Tony.
That's why we planned it that way.
Let me just get into this here real quickly. Have a little slideshow for us. Ooh. And here we go. All right. The scam apocalypse, as I'm calling it, and how to survive it. So I'm here to talk to you about today. Oh, wait, hang on. The scam apocalypse. I hear that creepy music. Yeah, just gets a little excited there. All right. So I want to tell you guys about a recent financial scam that was in the news. I don't know if you guys heard this, but did you hear that Henry Winkler was recently arrested for a financial scam? In case any of you are forgetting who Henry Winkler is, that's a picture of him right there. Yeah, they said he was involved in a Ponzi scheme. Oh, hello. Anyhow, let's get into the serious stuff here. We're talking about scams. We want to talk about, first of all, that's going to kind of carry out through the whole presentation, the 3 key things you want to look out for. When you get a communication via any sort of reference, these are the 3 things that the scammers are going to really try and get into you from. The first one is a sense of urgency. And you say, you got to do this now. Respond immediately. This is super important. You got to get into this now. So you're like, oh my gosh, I got to fix it now. And your brain stops with the critical thinking. There's this urgency that they have about it. The next one is they appeal to your emotions. They might call you up and say, hey, my granddaughter just recently has to have kidney surgery. Could you just send me $500? You're like, oh my gosh, they're appealing to your emotions. And when your emotions get in, again, that critical part of your thought starts to shut down and you start to think more with your emotions. And then the last one is things that are just too good to be true. They're like, oh, you want a $500 gift card? Give us your email and your credit card number, and we'll send you the $500 you know, those are the other things that they do. Think about it. If it's too good to be true, it might be a scam. So those are the 3 things we're going to look out for through the whole thing. All right. Scammers love new strategies. They do phone calls, boom, 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 text messages, snail mail, as they call it nowadays, because there's now email, social media, and skimming devices. These are all the topics we're going to touch on here today. All these different things that they try to get into. So first we're going to talk about scam phone calls. I got a couple examples of some that you guys may have heard. How many of you have a car extended warranty that's about to expire? I know I've had a million calls on that. This is what that call sounds like from time to time.
We've been trying to reach you concerning your car's extended warranty. You should have received something in the mail about your car's extended warranty. Since we have not got.
So there you go. There's this extended warranty. We've been trying to reach you.
We've been trying to reach you concerning your car's extended warranty.
Pause it. Pause it. I said pause. Don't play again. Oh my gosh, she keeps auto playing. This has never happened before. Oh my gosh, now we're going everywhere. This has happened before. Whoa, whoa.
Boy, Tony, where does Alexa when you need her?
All right, let's just go to the next. Let's see if it's here. All right, so we got our phone call starting. Oh man, this one doesn't want to stop. Come on, buddy.
We've been trying to reach.
They're really trying to reach us about this extended warranty. As you can see, all right, I think we've got it now. I pushed the right button, I think. All right. The next one is Visa MasterCard Services. Who's gotten that phone call? Anybody gotten that one? Visa MasterCard Services? This is what this one sounds like.
Alert system with Visa MasterCard account services with important changes to your account before the next billing cycle. If you received your new rates by mail and wish not to be contacted, press 3. Congratulations on your excellent payment history. You can qualify for a 0.
All right, so they're calling you from Visa MasterCard Services. Anybody see any red flags with just that in general? My first thought is Visa and MasterCard are competitors. Why are they going to get together and call you at the same time? That wouldn't make any sense at all. Visa or MasterCard also wouldn't call you. They just process the payments for your bank. You'd have Chase call you or Wells Fargo call you or Bank of America. It's not going to be Visa MasterCard. So don't fall for that one. Next one, interestingly enough, is correctional facilities. You might have someone call you and say, hey, your grandson's in jail. He wants to give you a call, but you know they can't call for free, so you need to send some money so he can call you and talk to you. And they just try and get your money. This is an actual voicemail that I got on my personal cell phone.
This is an important message from GTO about calls from an offender at a correctional facility. Para escuchar este mensaje en español, oprima el número 1. An offender at a correctional facility attempted to make a collect call to this number, but the call could not be completed due to billing restrictions.
Whoops, we backed all the way out now. I was just trying to stop it. Let's resume from here. Oh, my darling, oh, my darling. Let me remember how to do this. Come on. There we go. Oh, we get to scam calls all over again. Great. Let's keep doing that fun. Next. All right. Now we can just pause it here. There's a little
This
button.
is an important
There we go. Oh my gosh. Stop. All right, so they called me from correctional facility, said someone's trying to reach you, get calls, give us your credit card number, and then call you. I said, so what you want to do in those instances is think, okay, that's a possibility that could happen. So maybe check with your other family members, say, hey, do we know anybody who recently went to jail? You know, where's Gerald? Is he in prison again? You know, do a little bit more research into it before you start just giving your credit card information out to whoever. All right, now I got another little clip for us.
Hey, is your phone broken? Is your phone broken? I've been trying to reach out to you about your car's extended warranty. This is the last.
Oh, that one kills me. Those guys did a little prank. They did a bunch of different things. They go to the beach and go to people who are sunbathing. Been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Just because everybody was getting that call for a long time. I haven't gotten it in a little bit, but. All right, next we're going to jump into email scams. Now there's key things you want to watch out for with an email scam, and we call it the SLAM method. So SLAM, each one of these letters stands for something, and these are the things you're going to want to check every time you get an email to see if you're potentially being scammed. All right, so the first one, S, is for the sender. Who sent you that email? It's the first thing you want to check. So here's an example of an email. I'll zoom in here in just a second. But this Amazon, it's from Amazon. Who uses Amazon in here? Anybody use Amazon? A lot of people are using scams pretending to be Amazon because just about everybody uses it. So on this particular email, it says your account's on hold due to billing issue. Click this and update your payment information. So what they have to do, put in your credit card, right? So they want you to get your credit card information, but who sent me this email? Let me zoom in here just a bit. Get my mouse over to the right spot. All right, I hope you guys can see this, but I'll read it to you. So it says from account-alert@prime.support. That sounds likely, it's possible, but that's not their email address. That's just what their email address looks like. Their username, this is their username. Their email's right here. Their email is mailappsrm18kcpdpuf@romepamelas.com. I doubt that's actually Amazon. So when you see a weird email address that it's coming from, that's the first you want to check, that sender. Who exactly sent me this? All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, L is for the way you look. Oh wait, no, it's for links. Links. So L is for links. Is there a link in the email? If there's a link for you to fix a problem, it's probably a fake email. If they want you to update your credit card information or want you to update something else, they're going to tell you come to the website. They want you to go directly to Amazon. So go to Amazon.com on your browser. Don't click on their link to Amazon because that's going to bring you something that looks like Amazon was going to steal your information. So here's an example of another Amazon email that says, oh, we noticed your Prime membership's ready to renew, but we noticed that your card associated isn't valid anymore. So please use this link or click on the button below, which we can't see down here, but they want you to click on a link to update your payment information. Again, actual Amazon would reach out to you if this was a situation and say, go update your account information, go to it and update it. So if you're going directly to it, nobody can fake that. It's not nearly as easy. All right, A, it's for attachments. Does the email have anything attached to it? A lot of times they can disguise an attachment as something that looks harmless, but would deploy some sort of virus onto your computer if you open it. So here's an example of an email. We can kind of apply some of the things we already saw before. So we see that the email's from teamgov.uk. Well, that sounds likely. That might be possible, but their email address is xxx@hotmail.co.uk. So that doesn't actually sound to me like it's actually from whatever government agency is sending this. They said, for your security, you must review this refund. Ooh, I'm gonna get money? They're appealing to my too good to be true situation, right? I'm getting a refund. Ooh, I should open this document, fill it out and send it in so I get my money. They're trying to trick you. Don't fall for that. That little attachment here at the top. So we're really key thing we're looking for in this email. All right, and M is for the actual message itself. Take a look at what the words actually say. Are there grammatical errors, typos, things like that? Major companies that are sending this out to a whole bunch of people are going to make sure they check those things. They're not going to send it out with a bunch of errors. So here's another interesting one. We can apply a bunch of things we already learned with. Let me zoom in on this one. There we go. All right, so a couple of things again on this one. Who's noticing this? Subject, open immediately, sense of urgency, right? Do this right away. Next thing, who's the sender here? IRS Online, ooh, IRS. Oh, but it's from glstar@comcast.com. I really doubt the government is using Comcast. I know the rest of us usually are, but then we look at the actual message itself. And I'm seeing a couple of issues here. After reviewing your tax form, we noticed information missing, which funny enough is missing a letter. Regarding the 1040 form, if this information is not updated before February 28th, you will be fined $1,000 by the U.S. government. Oh, they spelled government wrong. So I really doubt that the IRS is going to be keeping anybody in a job for too long if they're sending out emails with a bunch of crazy spelling errors, etc. So those are just other things to be on the lookout for. This next email is a little bit of a test. So sometimes emails look like they might be scammy. They may be actually legitimate. So this message here is an actual email that I received. You guys think that this email is a scam? Let's see what it says. So it's from Google, that's the email, or the account contact name, but then their email is noreply@accounts.google.com. So no reply is what a lot of businesses do actually use because you can't reply to it. You have to reach out another way. What they're telling me here is, we noticed a new sign-in on your Google account on a Dish Evolve device. If this was you, you don't need to do anything. If not, we'll help you secure your account. Oh, they'll help me secure my account, but it doesn't say here, click here to reset your password. It doesn't say, click here to go to the page to do anything like that. They do have a link here to check the activity. That's just going to tell me who has logged in and logged out of my account. So in this instance, I was on a trip to Phoenix. I stayed in a hotel and I logged into their TV there so that I could watch YouTube with my children. And they had some specific videos they wanted to watch. It's just easier if I signed in. So I got this email immediately, which was really nice. So that's another thing for another subject of they keep you secure and let you know who's logging in. But so these things, this looks like it could be a scam, but you know, always in this instance, if you get something like this, always go directly to your resource. I would go directly to Google and make sure that I actually can still log into my account and nobody's being nefarious. Then one more example, similar instance, HBO Max, service.HBO Max looks kind of legitimate in terms of the email address. I'm noticing, all right, they have my name. I reviewed this whole thing, didn't see any concerning grammatical errors, but they're saying that someone logged in Oceanside, California, while I'm sitting at home in my living room here in Marana. I thought that's interesting, but you can take a, this is where an interesting one comes up. Again, it says, reset your password is the first thing you want to do if this wasn't you. And it says, this says update your account info. It's a link. I don't know if I would actually click that link. I would probably go to HBO Max and maybe just reset my password directly. Oh, darn. So this was actually a legitimate email also. It looks weird, right? It says update your account information, but what you see just before it is see how to update your account information. So again, it's not actually going to bring you somewhere and try to reset your things. So just be diligent, review the whole message. If it seems fishy in any way, just go directly to them. Those are the emails. All right, another question for you guys. What do you call it when you fall for a pyramid scam or a pyramid scheme? Anybody know what they call that?
Ponzi?
They say you got Egypt Oh. All right, let's talk about text message scams. Anybody have a phone that gets text messages here? Anybody ever gotten a text message scam? Yeah, we're gonna do the same thing with emails. We're going to, oh, well, this is really bad contrast here, but apply the SLAM method to your text messages as well. So I've got a few screenshots on here. Every screenshot is from my actual phone of messages I actually received. The first one is from Amazon. We found suspicious transaction. For security reasons, we deactivated your account. Right now, I can't buy that bread maker I was looking for. Please secure and verify your payment method to reactivate your account. Click the following instructions, or click the following instructions from the following link. So like sense of urgency, someone's in my account. You know, your Amazon account has your credit card link, so people just buy stuff right away. They want me to go to this link so I can figure out what's going on with my account. But if we go back to our SLAM method, who's the sender? It's right here. This is a text and it's an email. That's concern number one, right? There's an email address, and then the email is service ID, blah, 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 privacy treatment? Treatment, I don't know. All kinds of weird spelling errors just in the email address that it's from in the first place. So we're going to apply that SLAM methods, and we're also going to apply our sense of urgency, appealing to your emotions. I know I'm very emotional about my money, so that's another thing they're looking for. All right, this one here. Ooh, bank mobile alert. Again, another email. A little fishy already. Text message. Call this number now. My Visa card was temporarily locked. Well, I know I have about 5 or 6 different Visa cards, but again, they don't tell me what bank it is. It's from a weird email address. I don't even know what account to be concerned about if it's not Chase or if it's not Wells Fargo or what have you. So again, another scam. They want you to call in this instance. That's almost even worse because you can't verify things online. All right, now who thinks this one's real or fake? What do we think about this one? It's from a phone number, so that's a good sign at first. Webull, has anybody heard of Webull? It's an account trading, it's an account for trading stocks. So I do have this actual application. The login password of your account has been reset successfully. If this was unexpected, please check your account security immediately. This one's a little bit of a trick. This one was legitimate. I had recently reset my account details. And again, there's no link here. So that's good. If this was a fake one, they'd probably have a link that says, click here to fix it. You know, in this case, they're saying, go directly to your account and make sure it's good. So that's how you know a legitimate one. All right. Ooh, one more from an email address. Here we go again. What do we have is who it's from. Who uses PayPal? Anybody in here ever use PayPal? You ever use PayPal's? Ooh, whoa, somebody made a mistake there. PayPal's, we've restricted your account. For more information, visit this. Oh, great. Here we go again. Another link. We got links, we got grammatical errors, we got weird senders, all these things to always look out for, okay? Keep yourself safe. Next subject is, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. All right, it's snail mail. It's slow, get it? Oh, snail mail. Or as we all used to call it, just mail mail. Anyhow, this is a letter. So I work at the Water Market Continental Ranch, which is just around the corner for those of you guys who don't know. And we have a ton of residents in our building, and this is a letter that one of our residents received. The good thing is that resident knew enough to come ask us if it was anything they should worry about. But it at least got them worried, so that's a key thing, right? So let's take a look at this letter that they received. Where's my mouse? You see it in there? Oh, there it is, okay. I'm gonna zoom in here at the top first. All right, so this is one of those letters that they got with a little window. In that little window, this is what they could see. Immediate response to this notice is requested. So as soon as they got the mail, they're like, oh my gosh, I need to respond right away. What's that again? Our sense of urgency. That's flag number one. Another time sensitive, just for good measure, throw it in there. Here was another interesting thing. It was addressed to the resident's deceased family member. So that's flag number one. They had never lived in the building that we're in. They're sending it to our building, and it's for home warranty. That's interesting. Okay, tons of red flags now, right? You need to call right now before the respond date expires. Sense of urgency. Oh my gosh, look at all the things that you could have troubles with. You might need help with your air conditioner and your hot water heater and your furnace, your refrigerator. Our hot water heaters aren't anywhere near their apartments. Come on now. This is just crazy talk. So at least they knew to come ask us about it. So if you guys ever get something fishy like this in the mail, I want you to not only, use your own judgment, but maybe get somebody else involved, a friend, a family member, somebody else who, can look at it also and wouldn't have that same, since it's not their letter, they won't have that same sense of urgency. They won't have that same emotional response. They can think about the logics of it all while you might be stressing out. So if you see something like this in the mail, be very, like how many times they say this? Extremely urgent, time sensitive, immediate response everywhere. They got this all over the letter just to really, really mess with you. So that's something to look out for. That's all I got on mail ones. I didn't have any other good mail scams come up, but that's just a perfect example of all the same things we've been talking about this whole time apply to no matter how they're reaching out to you. Next one is social media scams. Again, I get to pick some awful backgrounds here. It says, watch for examples of this common scam that's been occurring on many social media platforms. How many of you guys have ever sold something through like the Facebook Marketplace? Anybody ever done that? Have you guys ever seen the scam that people are running through there? If you are the seller, people are trying to scam you. This is interesting. So I posted a couch recently. This happened to me. I'm going to pull up this guy's video and we'll look at a couple of the messages that he received. But the key thing to know is that when you post something on Facebook for sale, they then ask you for your phone number instead of messaging in Facebook, which is a little odd in and of itself because you can message back and forth on Facebook. Why do you need to then message on my phone number? So that's one small red flag. But then what they started doing after that is what gets a little weird. Let me show you this guy's video real quick.
Basically, I posted an item that I wanted to sell, and someone responded to it and they asked for my phone number. So I didn't give it to them at first. Instead of asking different questions, like I asked them, where would you be coming from? And they responded again, insisting on getting my phone number.
So I'm just going to pause this real quick so you can see what his messages are here. So for those of you who couldn't hear him because he's really quiet, he said, this person first responded and said, I'm interested in this item. He said, okay. He said, I can pick it up today. Please give me your cell phone number. Okay. He said, okay, where are you coming from? And she said, please give me your cell phone number. Oh, okay. She says, I will call you. Oh, interesting. Doubt it. But hey, it's possible. All right.
Be a good sign to just end the conversation right there.
So then he gave his phone number. He's blacked it out here in this black section, but he gave the phone number.
I gave them my phone number to see what they would do. And what they did was they told me that.
All right, so here's what they did next. He gave him the phone number and he said, I want to purchase it. Okay. I sent you a 6-digit Google voice code. If your post is real and you're a real person, send me the code and then I'll call you. Does anybody know what's happening here? They got their phone number, and there's several different, in this case, he has a Google device. He doesn't have an Apple phone, he has a Google phone. And his phone is tied to his phone number. So that person got his phone number and is trying to get into his Google account by punching in his phone number. And then what they do is to keep it secure, they send your phone a message. Google does. And what this person's doing is pretending like they sent him the code. They're saying, Google didn't send you that code, I sent you the code. So you give me the Google code, and then I'll know you're a real person. That's what they're pretending to do. But what they're then going to do is immediately go into your Google account, change your passwords, change whatever they want to change, get whatever access they want to get access to. They're going to be messing with it. So definitely don't fall for this one. If someone ever asks you, if it's not an actual business that's sending you a verification code, do not give that, do not ever send it to another person. If you get a code on your phone, that's not coming from a person, it's coming from a business. And that business would have you punch it in on like a website. That person's on the website right now, ready to put his number in. So that's just another thing to look out for. Let's also take a look now at credit card skimmers. You guys ever heard of credit card skimmers? Yes. Yeah, so I got a few pictures of them in here. The reason why credit card skimmers are risky is because they're small. They can be small. They're quick for the thieves to put in place. And they can be disguised and camouflaged to look exactly like the thing you're used to working with. And it's just a little tip for if you are curious if there is a skimmer, just give it a little tug. So if you see, you can see this background, we have a better picture in a second. But on the, if you guys have ever used these credit cards with the green thing that you insert your credit card into, they took a thing and just popped it right on top. But if you just give it a little tug like that, it'll come right off. So if you, every time before you put your card in something, if it's something you can pull on, just give it a little, not really hard, but just give it a little pull. And if it pops off, then chances are there's something nefarious on top of that. All right, so here's a couple examples of what they look like. These ones are at like Safeway and Fry's and things right now, ones that look like this. They just take this piece and they plop it right on top. And then when you slide your card through, it still works and you still get your stuff from Safeway, but the scammer also gets your card information as it slides through his. It's going through both. So you don't even know the tap. Same thing with these other ones. This one just looks like this when it's in place, which looks like one that I use all the time. But then you notice someone tugged on it, it just fell off. So the one inside is good. That's the one that the business actually uses. The one on top is where they're stealing your information. And then the same thing over here. This is that green one again. It looks like this when it's in place. But then they just pulled on it, and this piece came off with a little battery inside and a little memory card for them to store your information on. They're copying your exact card. And a lot of that is the reason why they now have those chips. So the chips, every time you enter a chip into the machine, if you're using one of those, the bank, it sends a message to an encrypted message to the bank, and then they send an encrypted code back to the card, back to the machine that they're using for them to confirm that it's legitimate. So it's a lot more secure, but a lot of times to get the chip in, you still have to swipe. So if it's got that swipe, you still got to be careful, be leery of that. All right, when I was talking about how quick they are to put in place, this is just an example of how quickly, it's like 20-second video, this guy puts this little skimmer on top of this device.
Let's take a look, surveillance video capturing a suspect allegedly placing a card skimming device on
And
a credit card
he's done.
machine at a
That's it.
7-Eleven in Hawthorne.
That's all the harder it is for them to put it on there.
35th Street. Customer is seen
Pulls it
waiting
out of his jacket, because it's nice and small, and you can put it
card skimmer without it being seen.
right on there.
The store's manager says that he reached out to Hawthorne PD and has already filed a report.
All right. So that is the majority of the scams I was here to talk to you guys about today. Did anybody have any questions on any of those topics we talked about? What's going on, Deb?
So Tony, you mentioned a black faceplate like Safeway.
Mm-hmm.
You have to worry about Safeway fries?
You potentially could. Now, the key thing here is I don't want to freak anybody out. There's a lot of scams out there, but now that you know about them, that's the key thing, is to know about them.
So what would you do at Safeway? Party
So what's interesting that a lot of the grocers and other places are doing, if you guys ever do Costco gas or anything like that, they're putting little tamper-proof stickers on them. So you can see if there's a sticker over a thing like that, then more than likely that was put there by Safeway or by whomever. And then if there's something on top of it and there's only a half a sticker there, that's something to look out for. With the self-checkouts and things, they typically have somebody right there. But if they put it in place, again, it's just, you saw how quickly he put it on. All you have to do is just, every time before you swipe, just give it a little tug on it, just to make sure that there's not one there. But again, it also just is gonna look a smidge bigger as well. It's gonna look a tiny bit bigger because it has to fit over top. So just look for anything that's out of place on this, but don't freak out. Yeah, go ahead.
I got the text message from PayPal,
Mm-hmm.
so I contacted PayPal.
Right.
And they sent me up with the fraud department at PayPal.
Mm,
And so the next time I got another text from them, they wanted a copy of it.
sure.
They're trying to trace that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So the businesses, when you get those fake text messages, the businesses are well aware that those are happening.
Yeah.
But again, technically, it's kind of their problem because it's their customers that are being attacked, but it's not directly their problem. So if you reach out to them and let them know that these scams are out there, then they can try and figure out where because those emails and things like that, there's ways to track what country those are coming from and things like that. There's little bits of data that go along with those messages that people can possibly track. Yeah, go ahead, Deb.
About 2 months ago, I was looking at the checking account with Hughes. And there was a line on my online thing that said that PayPal had done restricted hold.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, I don't have PayPal. I had it with my business years ago, with a different bank. So we called Hughes. And the fraud department called us and said that they went in and looked, and that PayPal had issued a restricted hold, and in the next few days, a couple bucks would be pulled so that we could move funds or something.
Hmm.
So she said, would you, she said, we're starting to see this. So she said, do you need your PayPal account? I said, no, I closed it. I
Mhm.
closed the business. And she said, well, we're gonna go in and do paperwork, so you will never have access to any PayPal again. I said,
Yeah.
fine.
That's a good idea.
So-
Yeah, and again, anytime anything suspicious is ever messaged you from any of those, go directly to the company just to make sure, whether it's their website, their phone number. Don't rely on whatever comes in the message. Just ignore that and go to whatever other resources you can find. Go directly to Amazon's contact us page or go directly to, Google or whomever it is. Go directly to the business. Never, if you ever have a suspicious email like that, even if it's a legitimate one, don't click on any links in there. Don't necessarily trust anything. Call them up first and they'll research it for you and see if it's actually true. What's going on, Kathy?
Okay, the scammers also can use a legitimate phone number for a company
Mhm.
that you may be working with or have an account with, but it's not coming from that particular company.
Oh, you mean like they're spoofing their caller ID?
Yeah, because when I lived in Texas, I was with Jexa Energy
Mhm.
Electrical. I had moved here about a year ago, anyway, it was months ago. I get a letter also,
Mhm.
looks legit, but I knew it wasn't because my account's closed. But then I got a voicemail message, a text message,
Mhm.
phone number. I looked up the phone number and that was Jexa Energy's phone number.
Mhm.
And they did have account, yes, they were calling regarding my account
Mhm.
because, there appeared to be problems with it. And I thought, I haven't been with you all for a year. I called Jexa Energy to
Mhm.
confirm everything had been closed, but they said, I'm gonna send you to our fraud department, gave them the phone, sent them my text message.
Mhm.
And you gotta be aware, you can be diligent, check those phone numbers, yes. That is that organization's
Right.
phone number,
Yeah.
but that is not the organization contacting you.
Right. Yeah, if you ever have any suspicion of any phone call that you get,
Yeah,
even if it, even if, like she said, she mentioned that she got a phone call from the phone number that was actually the appropriate phone number, but it is possible to spoof the phone number that your phone will see when you're calling you. So if it ever seems suspicious or anything like that, say, I'm okay with dealing with this, but I'm gonna call you back. Because that won't go back to them if you're calling a legitimate number. If they're calling you, so always just hang up with them, say, I'll work with you guys, but let me call you back. And then you call the actual number and see if it actually gets through the right people. And they can confirm if it actually is an issue for you or not. Yeah. All right, I did have one more thing real quick. Anybody know this fellow? So I recently had a phone scam that came up. They called me and they said, you've won a prize. You get $250 or you can have 2 tickets to an Elvis impersonator show. And they said, please press. Wait for it.
Well, it's one for the money, for the show.
Get it? I won $250 for a show. They said, press 1 for the money or 2 for the show. Boy. Anyhow, any other questions? Oh, man, we got them all over the place. So I'm gonna go from left to right, if that's okay. Go ahead.
I've had a couple I'm on the computer, maybe doing some email, and all of a sudden I get this siren. The siren comes on, and then I get a screen that says, your computer has been locked and you cannot, you have to call this number right away.
Right.
And don't sign off your
Right.
computer or whatever. Well, of course, I sign off the computer
Right.
and I'm able to get back on.
Yeah.
But unless I do that, the screen is locked and I can't navigate it at all. How is that possible? How can they do that?
So actually, you asked an interesting question because I had never heard of this. And then like 2 weeks ago, someone at our office had the exact thing that you're describing now. So I don't necessarily know exactly what happened. I haven't had a chance to look into the details. But more than likely, if there was a link somewhere clicked on or a new web page opened or something like that, there are sometimes, depending on what you've clicked on, they have the ability to run what they call like scripts, which are things that tell your computer to do things that they don't necessarily have access to. But because you've clicked on something at some point, it started running that in the background. And one of those things it can tell it to do is lock your computer. And it can tell you to play a message or whatever. So I was very curious about it. Whoever it was, the representative that had the issue, they were about to leave for the day. And so since it was telling her not to lock her computer, or not to do anything to her computer, she just left it running all night. And now, of course, the computer was locked, like you said, so I couldn't get into it because I didn't know what her password was to be able to look into it. More than likely, it was just a browser page somewhere open playing the sound. And more than likely, you know, and if it did lock the computer, which I have seen, yeah, definitely go ahead and close down. I wouldn't listen to that. No, there's not going to be unless you've installed a program that's going to do that for you, that's not actually something your computer just does on its own. It's not going to do that. So yeah, especially if it's telling you to call a number. No. So if that happens to anybody here, because now that he said it, it's going to be more prevalent than I realized. It's happened to a couple other people. Once I mentioned it, you know, it happened over here too. Yeah, I'm really curious. The next time it happens to somebody, I'd like to know. Let me give you all my phone number. I'd like to figure out what exactly is going on. It's probably something we could give a quick Google. Let me see here. Sit out of this. Let's see. All right, so it appears it is a browser-based scam. So your computer was locked tech support scam is a browser-based scam that tries to trick people into thinking that their computer is infected and that their computer was locked. They will then tell the user to call a listed phone number to receive help. See if we can get any more details on that. Let's see, as this is just a scam and the site has no idea what's running on your computer, you should not call any listed number. Also, this is different. This may be popping up as well. Your computer was locked here is in the corner. That's what it says on that picture there. Do you guys have a message? Was this what your message looked like or no? But the computer was actually locked.
Add something like that.
Let's see. Yeah, call Microsoft technical support at this number. So interestingly enough, has anybody ever gotten that scam where it's Microsoft and call this number? Has anybody ever called one of those?
Yeah, our friend did.
Oh, you guys have, okay.
$250 on her credit.
$250. So they're doing even more scams than that. Here's an interesting one. They'll have you call in and they tell you to you're getting a refund. And they have just a regular, like a Word document open. It's not a Word, it's a text. You guys ever seen like the notepad on Microsoft? They have a notepad open, and they're having you type certain things in. And every time you hit enter, it says like approved, approved, approved. And they're watching, they've already had you do a program to where they can see what you're doing. So because they're technical support, they're helping you, right? And then they are watching your screen. And as you are typing in the refund amount you're supposed to receive, so they say, okay, type in $200. So they hit 200. And the scammer will hit a couple more zeros on their computer and then hit enter for you. Let's say $20,000 instead of $200. Let me show you a little clip of that real quick if you guys are okay with that. Let's see. Let's go back here. Just watched it recently. All right, so I'm going to put the video up of this happening to a person live on the phone, and they got the screen recording of it all happening and things like that. And what they end up doing is then they tell you, go to your bank's website. I want to see if you got the $20,000. And then they know how to manipulate the code to make it display. It's going to display whatever they want. It's not actually going to have happened. but it's gonna make it look like on your computer that you got $20,000. Let me find that clip. It's in this longer video here.
It was time to avenge back.
Let me find where it is here. It's just a shorter bit of the, oh, right here, okay. All right, so. Oh, hang on, we have to answer this one question. Oh, yeah, Skip.
Or massive call centers. Now, why would we go after this $20 million scam industry? Well, we're doing it for the 60 million people who've lost money to scammers in the past year. But more specifically, we're doing it for Bessie. You might recall from my previous video, where I detailed exactly how one of these scams work.
You remind me of my granny. Look, he's over here adjusting the code that's on the screen to display something
So it
else.
starts with an email or a spam call, then they pretend to be Amazon or Microsoft, and they tell the victim that they've been charged $200 for something, but if you call back, you can dispute the charge. Then after they call, they eventually get on the victim's computer and importantly, have
They are typing in their information.
$200 refund amount into a bogus
Here,
form.
you're typing 200.
Only
Type in the amount, it says.
secretly typing up $20,000 and then they hit enter real quick and everything is correct.
No, this is a mistake. Oh, I screwed up. It was supposed to be a 200 in there. Oh, God almighty. I'm exhausted. I can't do this.
Messing with her emotions, making it seem urgent,
Right.
too good to be true. Did you really receive that money in your account?
Totally fake, spoofed bank account page.
Right here. This is not her actual bank account page. They've made a fake page and they've adjusted what it shows to be as close to her actual information as they could. Deposit transfer from Chase refund server plus $20,000. So then now she's looking at it going, oh my gosh, I actually got $20,000. What do I do? I wasn't supposed to get this much.
Because of Bessie's mistake, they just sent her $20,000 instead of 200. Oh my God, plus 20,000.
Yeah.
Please save my job, man.
Please save my job.
For my family.
If I'm not earning for my money, my family will die due to hunger, due to starvation. Emotions, right? You're affecting me now, my job.
You know what?
I feel bad for you. You're like my grandmother, he says. She says, you're making me cry now, is what the guy on the phone
How
says.
do I fix this?
And then you can see how he's weaponized her empathy. Now to fix her mistake, how she'd be willing to go to the
Here
bank.
she is going to the
She
bank.
thinks is an extra $20,000 in cash, when in reality, it's $20,000 of her hard-earned savings. And she's gonna send it in the mail to a heartless scammer. Now, Tracy things have gotten a lot nicer over the last year. Here's another call.
So this whole longer video, if anybody's interested, is from this fellow named Mark Rober. He's working with a couple of other YouTubers who just have a fun time messing with scammers. If they're gonna mess with people, then why not mess with them? And so what he did is, there's these people who are really good at computers and they reverse the connection back to their computers. And they then will do a prank phone call on them and talk to them for 3 hours, use a voice changer, make it sound like they're a little old lady and really innocent and things like that. And like, oh yeah, I'll help you. And then here's another scam that they'll do, these same call centers is tell you to go and get gift cards. Have you guys heard of that scam? Someone's ever telling you to fix your problem with gift cards? No. Because those gift cards are not like a thing that can be refunded, can be traced. As soon as the credit's added to somebody's account, it's just in somebody's account. They're never going to know. So don't ever give somebody a refund or help them out with gift cards, right? And then these people, this whole video is about going over there with some secret agents that they get hired at these call centers. And then those people deploy pranks and things in their office. They have like stink bombs and they have this machine that lets cockroaches all over the building and all kinds of different stuff like that. It's pretty funny that we're messing with them, haha, since they're messing with our folks over here, but you know, it's a really, really interesting video that gives you a little bit of insights into that. We had some other questions over here, guys. You guys don't remember your questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm really not tech knowledgeable at all, so I don't believe almost any of the stuff I get.
Sure.
But I got one that's kind of interesting the other day. Expedia, yeah, I've got all those accounts blocked, but I keep getting this one message that says your Xperia account, your FICO chart has been changed and you need to contact us to update, which I do with it, what I do with all the others. I delete them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then I got the one from Amazon saying somebody had charged a new cell phone to my account. And they were turning me to the fraud department, and a gentleman came on. And I said, you know, I don't believe a word you're saying. Why don't you get a real job?
Yeah.
They hung up on me.
Yeah, sure.
And the reason I knew that wasn't true is I have 3 children with Amazon Prime accounts. If I want something, I call my children and they send it to me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I always tell everybody. Get your children involved, because they've had, you know, a lot of them have had technology for a larger portion of their lives than some other folks have.
I didn't say I sent my children a check.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you still have a question over here?
It was already answered.
Oh, okay, perfect. Good. Anybody else have anything else that's going on?
You were covering the scam, the credit card scam there. What about you doing the,
Like tap to pay?
yeah.
Yeah, so they do have those too. I couldn't find any good slides or videos necessarily, but I'm sure you guys have seen on like QVC and things or whatever, they're always trying to sell wallets to you that have something that blocks what they call RFID. RFID is, has something, radio frequency ID, right? So it's able to, your credit card, you can just tap it and pay. And a lot of cards, regardless if you ask for it, have it built in. If you have a Costco membership and have a Costco credit card, which I do, that one has tap to pay built into it. So hypothetically, it's just that easy to pay with your credit card. Somebody else could come up, if they had a device that could read those codes from your card, they could hypothetically just bump into you where your wallet is. Mine's here. Don't do it. But they could bump into, if they had the right device, they could just bump into it, say they want to read a card. They could read a card in your wallet if you don't have one of those ones that has the RFID blocking technology. So that's something that does exist. Or if you have your card out, let's say you've already paid and you just kind of sit on the counter for a second, somebody could just swipe over it and steal your information. So yeah, be very, very protective of, if the card has RFID built into it, it has like 3 little lines that look like what normally would be like a speaker sound or like a Wi-Fi looking type symbol. So if it has those 3 lines that progressively get bigger that are curved like that, that's how you know that your card has that built in. So be more protective of those particular cards. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Close to the subject, what do you think of that VPN network?
So yeah, VPNs are a very good way to protect yourself. So there's other scams that happen if you're using your device and you connect to a Wi-Fi network that you're not familiar with. Some networks have protections to where devices can't talk to each other over their own network. So when you connect to a Wi-Fi, anybody else who connects to that same Wi-Fi, if there's not protections in place, can talk to your machine and get into it. They can potentially talk to your machine. And so if you have a VPN, which is a virtual private network, the only thing that anybody on that network can see is that you're connected to this other network. They can't see whatever your traffic is. They can't see if you log into your bank account. They can't see anything else. And that would include even your internet service provider. Like if you're really concerned about your privacy and keeping things really secure, you can get a VPN and you can install the software on a phone, a tablet, a computer, and it encrypts all of your traffic that ends up going out. That's not necessarily going to be the case if you don't have a VPN. I personally don't use VPNs just because I'm too lazy to get it all activated, and it usually has some sort of cost associated, but it depends on,
For Norton, it's 150.
Yeah, $150 you save for Norton for like a year?
Yes,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
five items.
Oh, yeah, so you protected certain number of devices, yeah. And there's tons of VPN providers out there, but you're gonna have to pay at least a little bit for whichever one you do. So it's definitely something to look into and stay on top of for sure. Anybody else? You guys prepared for the scam-pocalypse now? All right, so just as a reminder, I'm at Water Market Continental Range. You guys can totally come in and visit me anytime you want. Just say, hey, what's up? You know, we do a lot of classes and things over there as well that you guys are welcome to come and enjoy. I know that I think it's today at 1 o'clock, someone's doing we're having a guest come into our community and teach our residents about the upcoming changes to Medicare for 2023. So you guys are welcome, anybody from the community is welcome to come and join us for that. If anybody was interested, I have flyers that I could pass out to you. But just want to let you know. I hope to come back here sometime soon and talk to you guys again.
Tony, Watermark put the flyer in our newsletter this month.
Oh, okay, well, there you go. Then you guys may already have the newsletter. But I believe it's today. So if you can come, please do. We'd be happy to see you.
Tony, would you be able to give us your phone number in case someone wanted to get in touch with you?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm kind of the tech guru guy at the Watermark as well. So I go to all the residents' apartments if they have a question with their phone, they have a question with an Alexa device, any of those things. I usually help just about everybody out with that stuff as well.
So your phone number?
Oh, sorry, my phone number is, I was gonna write it down, 520-789-6735, and that will go direct to me at the Watermark there.
Well, this has been a fabulous presentation. Thank you so much, Tony. We appreciate
Absolutely.
all this information. So that concludes our member meeting for October. Be sure to read your Tech Club newsletter and check out Communicator and send Suncat your blurbs also. Thank you. Thanks, Larry, for your tech support.
You got the spelling of your name.
Sure, so my name is, first name's Tony, the normal spell, Tony. Last name is Murya,